भाइना नमस्कार भाइना। हेलो। हाँ भाइना नमस्कार भाइना। हाँ भाइना नमस्कार भाइना। हेलो। हाँ भाइना नमस्कार भाइना। हेलो। हेलो। हाँ, भाइना नमस्कार भाइना। हाँ अच्छा। Okay, good afternoon to all of you. Is the slide visible? Please respond. Anyone, please respond.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So sorry for joining late. I had some urgent work, so got delayed. Anyway, we'll finish. We'll try to finish within 1 hour. Today we'll discuss an important topic actually, little bit mathematical. Try to understand. Otherwise, this is not a little bit theoretical. It requires fully understanding. Please try to understand. And wherever you cannot understand, you please ask me, or you can refer that book. Now, today we'll discuss how to monitor the cost aspects of a project. One important concept we will learn today, that is earned value analysis. We'll also discuss what is meant by baseline budget. Then we'll discuss how to monitor the earned value. These are the topics that we'll discuss on today. Let's see what is cost monitoring. You know that previously we have discussed a project could be late because the staff originally committed have not been deployed. You have hired 10 people, but in between 3 have left. They have not joined. So obviously the project may get delayed. In this case, the project will be behind time. Of course, it will be behind the schedule, but still it is under budget because few people have left. The cost will not be more. It is under the budget. There is another aspect. A project could be on time. You can complete within the schedule before the target time, before the target date, but only because additional resources have been added and so be over budget. You have seen, say the project target is 1 month, but by 15 days you see 50% work is not over. So what you can do? You can hire additional manpower and try to finish within this 1 month or within this budget. So in this case, what will happen? The project will be finished on time, but the cost will be high because you have hired additional manpower. So there is a need to monitor what? Both the things, the achievements, the target dates and the costs. You have to balance, you have to monitor both the achievements and the cost. I mean the target dates as well as the cost. Expenditure monitoring is a very important component of project control. Okay. It provides an indication of the effort that has gone into a project, how much effort you have put in your project. It will give an indication. A project might be on time, but only because more money has been spent on activities that originally budgeted. I have just told you, if the project is on time, why? But by that time you have put some additional manpower, additional resources to complete in time. That's what I'm saying. A project, it might have been completed in due time, within the target time, but due to addition of more manpower, which will take more money, but only because of more money has been spent on various activities than which was originally budgeted. A cumulative expenditure chart you can draw to show these features, these aspects. Expenditure chart provides a simple method of comparing the actual as well as the planned expenditure, but itself it is not particularly meaningful. This if you simply draw the cumulative expenditure chart, it is simply itself it is not meaningful, but I will see how it will be helpful to you. A project may run late or it may be completed within time, but this cumulative expenditure chart, it shows the substantial cost savings in future. Later on, how much cost you have saved, that can be represented by the cumulative expenditure chart. I am showing a simple example of a cumulative expenditure chart. This is a cumulative expenditure chart. This line, the solid line, is the planned cost that you have planned. But as the time progresses, you can see what is the actual cost. By comparing the actual cost and planned cost, you can see that whether your project it is over budget or below the budget, or it is marginal, it is at par the planned budget. So you can compare the actual cost and the planned cost. So in this way, the cumulative expenditure chart will help you to compare the actual cost versus the planned cost with respect to the time. We need to take account of the current status of the project activities before attempting to interpret the meaning of the recorded expenditure. Okay. We should take account of the current status of the project activities before attempting to interpret the meaning of the recorded expenditure. Cost charts become very much more useful. Okay, these cost charts, whatever the cumulative cost charts or simple cost charts, the cost charts they become much more useful if we can add the projected future cost, calculated. How? Calculated by adding the estimated cost of the work that is not completed so far. That means cost of the uncompleted work to the cost already incurred. So how we can make the cost chart more useful? We can make the cost chart more useful if you can add the projected future cost, which can be calculated by adding the estimated cost of the uncompleted work, that is the work that has to be completed, to the cost which have already been incurred. So you can use various computer software tools are there, where a computer-based planning tool can be used for this. Revision of cost schedules is provided automatically. Okay, when you are using automated tool, a software tool, where a computer-based planning tool is used, then the revision of the cost schedules can be provided. It is provided automatically, no need of manual intervention once the actual expenditure has been recorded. So once you record the actual expenditure, then if you are using a computer-based software tool, then the revision of the cost schedules, it is provided automatically. You need not have to you need not have to interrupt manually. You need not have to perform manual interruption. So this is again an example of the cumulative. Where you can see in x-axis you are taking maybe in weeks or months, y-axis the cumulative cost. This solid line is the original estimate, but as you move, as the time progresses, there might be variation in this original estimate. Either the cost may go up, or it may initially it may be it may be less, like this. This is the dotted line is the revised estimate. So you can see that this difference. So this is the original cost you can see, and this is the revised total cost. Similarly, time x-axis you can see this portion is the original completion date, and this where if you draw a perpendicular, this is the revised completion date. So, and if you are measuring what is the progress till now, say this is the suppose this date, maybe 5th week you are saying what is this is the right time now. You can compare what is the cost and what is the time. So initially you have cost was high, but you see during the initial time the cost is becoming less. So like that, whenever you want, you can make comparison. You can automate, and as I have already told you, if you are using these computer tools, if once the actual cost is recorded, automatically the revision of the cost schedule can be provided. This is an example of the cumulative expenditure. This figure illustrates the additional information available once the revised cost schedule is included. In this case, it is apparent that the project is behind schedule and over budget, isn't it? Just see, initially this was the cost, but you see the cost is becoming high in the revision. That means the over budget. So you see, initial plan time of computation completion is this, but then while you are progressing, the time is shifted. So it is over budget as well as it is lagging behind the schedule. That's what I want to say. For this particular example, in this case, it is apparent that the project is behind the schedule as well as it is over budget. Cost will be more. The figure also shows the revised estimates of cost and completion date. Okay, it also shows the revised estimates for what? The cost as well as for the time. Now, important concept, earned value analysis. This concept of earned value analysis has gained in popularity in the recent years, and it can be seen as a refinement of cost monitoring that just we have discussed. This concept of earned value analysis was originated in the US Department of Defense as a part of a set of measures to control the projects being carried out by the contractors for the DoD, Departments of Defense. So originally it was originated in where? In US Department of Defense. This concept of earned value analysis, it is based on assigning a value. As its name suggests, earned value analysis. So this concept is based on assign some value to what? To each task or to each activity or to each work package. Based on what? Based on the original expenditure forecast. So originally you are forecasting this much expenditure you have to make in your project. So based on the original expenditure forecast, you have to assign some value to each of the tasks or the whole work, like that. So let's take an analogy of this earned value analysis. So you know that civil contractors are doing these buildings, they make some contracts. So one way of looking this earned value analysis is same as is the equivalent of the price that might be agreed by the contractor to do some unit of work. So you have made an agreement with a contractor. So the price that might be agreed by the contractor to do some unit of work might be only to this standing the walls or putting the roof or fixing the doors and windows or whatever, or coloring, whatever that. So what is the price that might be agreed by contractor to do some unit of task? Please mark the difference. I am not saying the whole building, some unit of task, because in our software development you will see some activities, whether it is testing, coding, or requirement analysis or design. So similarly here I am using some unit of work, which may be only raising the walls or putting the roof or coloring or this furnitures or doors and fixing of doors and windows, like that. So so just one second. Sati class Okay, thank you. So now here I am again repeating that earned value. This concept it is as the equivalent of the price that might be agreed by a contractor to do some unit of work, some unit of task. The assigned value. So now let's see what will the value that has to be assigned. The assigned value is the original budgeted cost. Okay, so what originally you are planning, what originally you are forecasting, that will be the assigned value here. The assigned value is the original budgeted cost for the item. Okay, so the assigned value will be the original budgeted cost for that particular item, for that particular unit of task, and is known as planned value or PV. This is also known as budgeted cost of work scheduled, BCWS, budgeted cost of the work that is scheduled. So now let's see a task that has not started is assigned an earned value of 0. So a task which has not been started till now. So a task that has not started till now is assigned an earned value of 0. And when it will be completed, then the project is credited with the original planned value of the task. So until it is started, you will get 0. That value 0 will be assigned, and when it will be completed, then that task will be credited with the original planned value of the task. So a task that has not started is assigned an earned value of 0, and when it will be completed, and hence the whole project is credited with the original planned value of the task. The total value credited to a project at any point is known as earned value. Please see, mark the what is planned value. The assigned value is the original budgeted cost for that particular item, for that unit of work. And you know, a project consists of many tasks. So a particular task, when you are finding out, you are saying PV, planned value. So the assigned value, the original budgeted cost for that particular item only. But when you are considering whole project, the total value credited to a project at any point of time. Okay, the total value credited to a project. I'm not saying a tax here. Now I'm saying the word project. The total value credited to a project at any point of time is known as the earned value or EV, or budgeted cost of work performed. This is known as budgeted cost of work scheduled. You are scheduling, but here till now what you have performed. That's why this is also known as budgeted cost of work performed. And this can be represented how? So and this earned value can be represented as a money value, or an amount of staff time, or as a percentage of the PV. Okay. This earned value can be represented in terms of some monetary value, that means as a money value, or an amount of staff time that is spent, or as a percentage of the PV. So you can say that, so EV is thus analogous to what? EV is thus analogous to the agreed price to be paid. So how much price this has to be paid to the contractor. So EV is thus analogous to the agreed price to be paid to the contractor once the work is completed. Now where tasks has been carried out, where tasks have been started but they are not yet completed, some consistent method of assigning an AND value must be applied because they have started but they have not completed. Then how you can assign the value? How you can make the payment? So where tasks have been started but they are not yet completed, some consistent method of assigning an AND value must be applied. So these common methods are used popularly in case of software projects. One is the 0 by 100 technique, 50 by 50 technique, 75-25 technique or 75-25 technique, the milestone technique and the percentage completion technique. Let's quickly look at the we'll see these techniques in detail, but one more common thing let's see. Normally for software development, the 0 by 100 technique is preferred. 50 by technique if we use, there will be a problem. What is the problem? The 50 by 50 technique may give a false sense of security by overvaluing the reporting of activity starts. So just activity has been started. If you use this 50 by 50, it will get you. It may lead to some problem. The 50 by 50 technique can give a false sense of security by overvaluing the reporting of activity starts. The milestone technique might be appropriate for activities with a long duration estimate. If you will use the milestone technique, let's see for what kind of projects or for what kind of activity this will be appropriate. The milestone technique might be appropriate for activities with a long duration technique or with a long duration estimate. But in such cases, it is better to break that activity into a number of smaller ones. Okay. The milestone-based technique might be appropriate for activities with a long duration estimate. The activities which may expected to take long durations. The milestone technique might be appropriate for activities with a long duration estimate, but in such cases, what you should do, it is better to break that activity which may expect to take long duration into a number of smaller activities. Just decompose that activity into a large number of smaller activities. Now let's see each technique in detail. 0 by 100 technique. Here, in this case, a task is assigned a value of 0 until such time that it is completed when it is given a value of 100% of the budgeted value. So you have to give what? Any task in 0 by 100 technique, you have to give 0 first. And when it is completed, then you get the 100%. Even if you just it has completed 10%, 20%, 50%, no value. So you have to give initially 0. When that task is completed, then you can give the 100% of the budgeted value. This is the 0 by 100 technique. In 50 by 50 technique, what we are doing? A task is assigned a value of 50% of its value. So what is the total value? Assign only 15% as soon as it is started. So as soon as a task is started, you can give 50% and then given a value of 100%. So once it is complete, and when it is completed, then you can give the remaining 50%. I mean 100%, total 100%. We can take example in some contractual arrangements where a contractor is given half the agreed price when starting the work, isn't it? Or you have made a contract. The contractor will develop a building, so he has to spend some manpower. He have to give the labor charges. He have to purchase some raw materials. Where you will get the money? So in those cases, in case of building, developing a building, you may give 50% when the work is started, and other 50% after successful completion of that building. So in some contractual arrangements where a contractor is given half the agreed price when starting the work, and why you will give that 50%? Maybe or perhaps to help pay for the raw materials and the remainder on successful completion. Similarly, to pay the labor charges. So initially you have to give 50%, rest 50% later on. What is 75 by 25 technique? So same meaning. So your task is assigned 75% when it is getting started, and the remaining 25% can be paid on completion. And let's say for what kind of systems this will be applicable. Suppose you are purchasing a very large equipment, and that large equipment will come here. That large equipment, when you are receiving it, See, the company will not give you initially with zero amount. They may not trust you. So what you give initially when the equipment is arriving, you have to give 75%, and when it is installed and it is tested satisfactorily, you have to give 25%. You know, in our campus, so many what the generators are there. So these generators are very large volume. They are of a very large price. Maybe one is 10 lakhs or so. So you just give a purchase order, they will not give you. They will say that okay, you give us 75% or 80%, we'll deliver the product, and we'll go. Our person will go. He will install it and test it. On successful completion, you will give balance 25% or 20%. So for larger items of or for larger equipments, when they are delivered, you have to give 75%, and when it is successfully installed and tested, then you can give remaining 25%. Another approach is milestone technique. A task is given a value. Okay, so let's just go back quickly. This previous one. Okay, so one example here I have given this equipment example. Suppose we are purchasing a what you can say large server or a cloud server which consists of maybe 50 lakhs, and generally the company will not give you initially with zero amount. So you have to give maybe 75% of the thing, then that server will come or that HPC will come, and when it is successfully installed, then the company people will come, they will install, and then they will test it. So after successful installation and testing, then you can pay the balance 25%. So this is often used when a large item of equipment is being bought. Maybe 75% is paid when the equipment is actually delivered, and the rest when installation and testing have been satisfactorily completed. The next technique is milestone based technique. As its name suggests, here we have to assign some value based on some achievements. A task is given a value based on the achievement of some milestones that have been assigned values as part of the original budget plan. Let's quickly see an example. Suppose you are developing a software, then how you can assign the value? I have already told you the value can be monetary values or with some staff time that you have spent or percentage of this planned value. The example of milestone technique we may take as like this. Suppose you are developing a project. So what could be the different milestones? SRS document is completed, one milestone. Design documents such as DFD UML diagrams are over, another milestone. Coding is over, another milestone. Testing is over, another milestone, like that. On completion of SRS document, some value is assigned. Then after DFD and UML diagrams, some value is assigned. Then when the coding or then after coding is over, some value is assigned. The rest value is assigned after completion of successful testing and installation. So in this way, you can use milestone technique. And the last one is percentage complete. In some cases, there may be a way of objectively measuring the amount of work completed. How much work you have completed? You have given a task to a firm. So based on the progress, you cannot initially give the 100% because they may not complete in the right time. So what you do, you observe how much complete they are doing tasks they are completing. Suppose you have given that this processing result of this JE or this CCMT, etc. So then you see there are lakhs of people that are appearing. Then suppose you can say that okay, when you can enter the data of say 1 lakh people, then this much percentage will give. When you will enter the data of say another 2 lakh students, we will give another 20%, like this. So based on the percentage of work complete, based on the percentage of the transactions complete, you can give some value. In some cases, there may be a way of objectively measuring the amount of work completed. As part of the implementation of a student, okay, as part of the, let's take a small example, as part of the implementation of a student information system, suppose you are developing a student information system, then you have to enter the data of all the students in the institute, might be thousands of data. So there what you can do, a number of data records have to be manually typed into database. Suppose you have to type a number of data records manually into the database. Then you can say that, okay, for say 100, when you will type 100 students data, okay, you will give 10%. When another 100 students data, you will type another 10%, like this. So the actual number so far completed, it can be objectively effectively counted, and the value can be assigned accordingly based on the percentage of the total data, percentage of the total records you have typed. Accordingly, some value can be assigned. So these are the different techniques based on which you can assign values once the work is started, but they are not completed. Okay, and obviously you can see that for software which is meaningful. Anybody else? Of course, the 0 by 100 technique, because here normally this 50 by 50 or 70 by 75 will not work, because you know once the software is not complete, nobody can see it, nobody can visualize it. So normally people follow this 0 by 0, 0 by 100 technique, or this milestone technique. Normally it is applicable for software development projects. Then we'll come to the particular topic, that earned value analysis. So I have already told you two important things, planned value and earned value. So planned value is defined as the original estimate of the effort or the cost. Okay, planned value defined as the original estimate of the effort or cost to complete a task. Okay, and that means you have to compare with the idea of a price, how much price you have to give. So planned value is defined as the original estimate of what? Original estimate of the effort or cost. Please see, to complete a task. It is, please see, it is highlighted to complete a task. So for completing a task, what is the original estimate of the effort or cost? That you can call planned value. This is completing a task. Here it is not same as the completing the whole project. That's why you have to emphasize that for completing a task, how much what is the original estimate of the effort or cost? That will be known as planned value. Similarly, earned value, it is known as what? It is defined as the total of the planned values for the work completed at this time. Take a particular time, maybe the current time now. So by this time, how many tasks you have completed? For each task, what is the PV? Find out the total of the planned values. This will give you the earned value. So earned value is defined as the total of the planned values for the work completed at this or by this particular point of time. Now let's quickly say about the baseline budget. The first step in setting up an earned value analysis is to prepare the baseline budget. Now let's see how the baseline budget can be prepared. The baseline budget is based on, okay, the baseline budget is based on what? The project plan. So what is your project plan? You have to initially make the project plan. The baseline budget is based on the project plan, and it shows the forecast growth in earned value through time. So what is the growth? What is the forecasted growth? On what? The forecasted growth in the earned value with respect to the time. That is represented by the baseline budget. The baseline budget is based on the project plan, and it shows the forecast growth in earned value through time. Earned value may be measured in monetary values. I have already told you earlier, earned value may be measured in monetary values or staff time or percentage of PV. Any way you can take. Earned value may be measured in monetary values, but in the case of staff intensive projects such as software development, it is also common to measure earned value in staff time or in person hours or work days. Okay. This is, you can see how this what baseline budget is shown. A typically baseline budget, as I have already told you, baseline budget shows what? It shows the forecast growth in earned value through time or with respect to time. It can be represented either in monetary values or in person hours or in work days. Here we have shown a baseline budget in terms of work days. So x-axis we have taken the elapsed days, y-axis the work days, and then we can see what is the total estimated project budget. I have already told you what we want to represent. It shows or it represents the forecast growth in earned value through time. As time passes, how the earned value, as the time passes, how you can represent the forecasted growth in and value. So this is the x-axis we have taken how the time passes, the elapsed days, this in terms of days. This y-axis either you can take cost, I mean money, or staff time, or this effort, or this work days. So here the in y-axis work days is being taken. So this curve will represent the total estimated project budget. Okay, so this will represent the total estimated project budget. So this is how you can represent the baseline budget. This is an example of a baseline budget. This example baseline budget uses 0 by 100 technique for crediting value to the project. So this example we have taken. This uses this 0 by 100 technique, where you have to give initially 0 till the project is completed. When the project is completed, then only you will give 100. Then you can assign the value 100 to the project. The example baseline budget uses 0 by 10 100 technique for crediting the and value to the project. You can see that this project is not expected to be credited with any and value until day 34. You see, when the project is started, 34th day. That means till 34 days, you have to give how much? Value 0. And after 34, then you can carry out. How you will give the value? How you will estimate the and value? This project is not expected to be credited with any and value until day 34. When the activity specified overall system is to be completed. So when it is specified overall system, this activity is completed. Okay. So this project is not expected to be credited with any and value. That means 0 value until day 34, when the activity specified overall system is to be completed. This activity was forecast to consume how many days? 34% days. So this is expected to be taken what 34%. Okay. This activity was forecasted to consume 34% days, and it will therefore be credited with 34% of and value when it has been completed. So when this activity will be completed, since it is estimated that it will take 34% days, so when it is it is fully completed, then you can assign value 34. Before this, up to 34 days, 0. So since it is expected to take 34 days. So after this activity is completed, you can assign the value 34 to this and value. This project is not expected to be credited with any and value until day 34, when the activity specified overall system is to be completed. This activity was forecast to consume 34% and it will therefore be credited with how many percentage? 34% of and value when it has been completed. The other steps in the baseline budget chart coincide with the scheduled completion dates of other activities. So the other states we have not shown here. The other steps in the baseline budget chart, okay, the other steps in the baseline budget chart coincide with the scheduled completion dates of the other activities. Now let's see how can monitor the and value. So having created the baseline budget, so that means after creating the baseline budget, the next task is to monitor the and value as the project progresses. So now let's see how it can be monitored. So this can be done. This is done by monitoring the completion of the tasks or the activity starts and milestone achievements in the case of the other crediting techniques. I have already told you we are using your 0 by 100 technique. So this monitoring can be done by this is done by monitoring the completion of tasks because you are using 0 by 100 technique. If you are using other technique like this some milestone technique or 57 technique like this, then how you can do? So when you can when the activity starts and the milestone they are achieved, then you can assign the values. This is done by monitoring the completion of tasks. If you are using 0 by 100 technique, if you are using other techniques, then you can use the following. Or when the activity starts and milestones achievements or milestones are achieved in the case of using other crediting techniques. As well as recording the EV, that is the earned value, the actual cost of each tax also can be collected. Okay, please see. Earned value and plan value we have seen. Those are all forecasted values. So as well as recording EV, just like recording EV or assigning EV, the actual cost of each tax can also be collected, and this is known as actual cost or AC. So this actual cost is also known as actual cost of work performed or ACWP. Where EV we have shown, it is known as budgeted cost of work performed, and this is known as AC or ACWP. It stands for actual cost of work performed. A simple example of an earned value tracking chart, where x-axis we have taken the month number, y-axis we have taken the cumulative cost, maybe in pounds, and then you can see this solid line in the middle. This is the baseline budget, which represents PV. This dotted line below here, this is this earned value or EV, and this what is the actual cost? This is represented by the dashed line, the top one. This is the AC. So given these things, what you can find out? Given the baseline budget, given the earned value, given the actual cost to date, and so because this is the time now, this is the today's date. You are seeing on today's date what is the progress you want to find out. So this is the time now. This is the actual cost till date. This is the earned value also till date, and this is the planned value. I have already told you earned value means what? You have to find out the summation of the planned values till now. So this middle solid line is the planned value. This dashed line on the above the solid line is the actual cost to date or AC, and this dotted line below the solid line represents the earned value. With this, we can identify four important measures. Those are budget variance, schedule variance or cost variance, and then time variance. Let's see how you can find out these concepts of these quantities: budget variance, schedule variance, or cost variance and time variance given PV, AC and EV. This figure illustrates, the following figure illustrates, the above figure illustrates the following performance statistics, which can be shown directly or derived from the earned value. So what performance statistics we can derive? Schedule variance, time variance, cost variance and performance variance. Now let's quickly define how you can find out schedule variance. The schedule variance is measured in cost terms. It is represented as SB is equal to EV minus PV, where EV you know earned value and PV is the planned value. What does it represent? What does it indicate? Schedule variance indicates the degree to which the value of completed work differs from that of the planned. Okay, I am repeating again. Schedule variance represents the degree to which the value of the completed work it differs from that planned, from the planned, okay, from the planned tax you can say, or from the planned cost. So schedule variance, it indicates the degree to which the value, maybe the cost of the completed work of the value or the cost of the completed work, it differs from the planned cost or the planned value from that planned or from the planned cost or planned value. Let's quickly take a small example. Say for example that work with a PV of 40,000. So you have estimated that the PV of a work is $40,000. It should have been completed by now. By today, a work having PV of $40,000 should have been completed. But in practice, what has happened? In fact, some part of the work has not been completed so far. It has not been so far. So there is a difference in the EV. Now PV is not equal to EV. So that the EV is only $35,000. Why? Because some part of the work that has not been completed so far. So what will the value of schedule variance? Formula, straightforward formula. The earned value minus planned value. What is the earned value here? You can see 35,000. But how much it was planned? $40,000. So what is the difference? Minus 5,000. So what does this minus sign represents? The minus sign represents what? The project is behind the schedule. I have already told you what is this SB, what does it represent? It represents the degree to which the value of the completed work differs from that plant. That value can be cost or can be time. So here SB is equal to minus $5,000 means what does it represent? A negative SB means that the project is behind the schedule, that the schedule can be a cost schedule, can be a time schedule. So here it is a cost schedule. So a negative SB means that the project is behind the schedule. That means it is behind the planned cost is 40,000 and value is 35,000. So a negative SB means the project is behind the schedule. The project is running behind the cost schedule. Time variance, similar meaning. This is the difference between the time when the achievement of the current earned value was planned to occur and what it is the current value now. So time variance, this is the difference between the time when the achievement of the current value was planned earlier to occur and what is the time now and the time now. In this case, the current EV should have been achieved in the early part of month 9. Please see. This is the figure. What was the planned when to complete? See, this is the what is the time now? This is 11. This is 11 month you are taking, and it was planned that earlier it should be completed by some 9 in the 9th month or so. Okay. It was, please see the graph here. It was planned that this activity, this work should be completed by some little bit more than 9 months, but actually now it is 11 months. So what will the time variance? Time variance will be 11 minus, you can see from the figure it is perhaps 9.25 or so, little bit more than 9. You can see this little bit more than 9, maybe 9.25 months. So the time variance will be how much? 9 minus, because it is EV minus PV. So what is the value for TV? So TV we have already told you that it is the difference between the time when the achievement of the current and value was planned to occur and the time now. So what is the time was planned? 9.25 months. What is the current months? 11. So 9.25 minus 11 is 1.7 minus 1.7 months. So this negative sign, what does it represent? The negative sign indicates that the project is running late. It is running behind the schedule, and here the schedule means time. It is running late. In this case, the current EV should have been achieved in the early part of month 9 that I have already shown in the figure, early part of month 9. But actually today is the 11th month. And at the time now is the end of the 11th month. So TV is equal to planned minus current, that is minus 9 minus 9.25 minus 11, that is minus 1.75 months, and negative TV indicates that the project is running late. So how can you find out cost variance? Cost variance is calculated as EV minus AC, where EV the earned value, AC the actual cost. What does it indicate? It indicates the difference between the earned value or the budgeted cost and the actual cost of the completed work. So cost variance
Hello friends, this is Parmanand. I have dropped in a message in the group. So there is some problem from the teacher's end, the network issue. We'll wait for 10 minutes. If teacher does not join, then we have to drop. That's the instruction from the sir. We'll continue for tomorrow's class. We'll wait for another 10 minutes.
Hello.
Yes.
Should we wait?
So actually there is some network issue from sir's end. So we'll wait, because if sir does not join in 10 minutes, that means the issue is still there. So we have to drop then after 5-10 minutes. Then tomorrow class will be continued.
Okay.
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Yes. So you are there, or people have left? Let's see how many are there. There's a net
No,
problem.
sir. Students are there here in the class. Nobody is left.
Okay. So let's finish what where we are there. I'm sorry, there's some net problem. So just see whether the slide is visible.
No, sir.
Your voice is not audible.
It is not audible, huh? Acha. Okay, now is it audible? Just let's see.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So. This is it. 130. 132. We are discussing about now. Am I audible? Please say. Few minutes you will take. Anyone please respond whether the slide is visible and am I audible?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we are discussing about cost variance. I have told that cost variance is defined as earned value minus actual cost. So what does it indicate? It indicates the difference between the earned value or the budgeted cost and what is the actual cost of the completed work. Okay. Cost variance, it indicates the difference between the earned value or the budgeted cost and the actual cost of the completed work. Let's take quickly a small example. Say that when the SB above was calculated as just minus $5,000, which case the previous example. What is the previous example? You can see here. This SB example, I have told that PV was 40,000, but some work was not done, so EV is only 35,000. So we have calculated SB is 35,000 minus 40,000. This is equal to minus 5,000. I have already shown. For this example, now we want to compute the CV. Say that when the SB for the above example was calculated as minus 5,000, so what are the actual cost we have spent? For example, we have spent 55,000 pound that had actually been spent to get the above EV. So in this case, what will the value of CV? EV minus AC. What is the EV? You have already seen. EV is earlier I have already shown you 35,000. So EV is 35,000 minus what? Minus AC. What is the value of AC here? It is already given 55,000 the actual cost. So CV is equal to 35,000 minus 50,000 coming to be minus 20,000 pound. You can see that you may remember that this CV, it can also be an indicator of the accuracy of the original cost estimates. How far accurate your original cost estimate, or there is large variation. It can show it can be used an indicator of the accuracy of the original cost estimates. And what does the negative sign will represent here? The negative sign in CV will represent that it means that the project is over cost. So when you are getting positive, okay, it is under the cost. But when it is negative, that means this represents that the project is over cost, it is over budget. So based on all those values, that is your SB, PV and CV, we can define two performance ratios. So two performance ratios are commonly tracked. They are CPI and SPI. CPI stands for the cost performance index. It is defined as EV by AC, that is earned value by actual cost. The schedule performance index SPI is defined as EV by PV, that means earned value by planned value. So for the above example that I have taken this example, for this if you will see that CPI will be equal to how much? EV by AC. EV I have already told you 35,000, by AC already shown 55,000, isn't it? 55,000 is the AC, it is clearly written. So CPI is equal to EV by AC, which is here coming to be 0.64. Similarly, what is the value of SPI? So EV by PV, EV is equal to earned value is 35,000, planned value already we have shown 40,000, so the ratio is 0.88. So these two ratios, they can be thought of as a value for money indices. Now let's see the interpretation, how you will interpret from the values. A value greater than 1, it indicates that the work is being completed better than planned. Okay, if the value is greater than 1, then the inference is that the work is being completed better than planned. Maybe early you have completed. And if a value is less than 1, what does it indicate? Whereas a value of less than 1 means that the work is costing more. That means the budget, the cost is above the budget, and or also proceeding more slowly than planned. Your progress is slow than the planned. You may miss the target dates. CPI can be used to produce a revised cost estimate for the project. Okay, this value of CPI that we have just calculated, CPI and SPI. CPI can be used to produce a revised cost estimate for the project. This is called as EAC, which stands for estimated completion. EAC can be calculated as finding out what ratio of BAC and CPI. So EAC is calculated as BAC by CPI, where BAC represents the budget at completion. Okay, so EAC is calculated as BAC by CPI, where BAC, which stands for budget at completion, is the current projected budget for the project. For example, if our previous project, the BAC is calculated to be 1 lakh pound, then a revised estimate at completion can be computed as what? BAC by CPI. BAC already given 1 lakh, and CPI for our previous example it is coming to be 0.64. So BAC by CPI is coming to be how much? So 1,50,000 to $250. So the initial cost, the budget at completion, it was estimated as 1 lakh. Now, based on the CPI, you can say that the revised estimate is more. It is 1,50,250 pound. So in this way, by using this CPI, you are calculating a factor called as estimated completion. Similarly, the SPI can be used. What is SPI? We have already seen. SPI stands for the Schedule Performance Index. Similarly, the current SPI value can be used to project the possible duration of the project given the current rate of the progress. So if the current rate of progress is given, by using SPI, you can find out what the possible duration of the project. So now let's explain through an example. Suppose the planned duration for the previous example is 23 months. You have expected that this will be completed on 23 months. Suppose the planned duration is 23 months. In AND value terminology, this factor is known as schedule at completion or SAC. Just like BAC we have seen, BAC stands for budget at completion. So similarly, if the planned duration is 23 months, in AND value terminology, this concept is known as schedule at completion or SAC. Now by using this SPI, you can use you can find out the project that can be used. Okay, the current SPI can be used to project to estimate the possible duration of the project given the current rate of the progress. So now I can use this SPI value. By using this SPI value and SAC value, you can find out another term called TESE. This stands for time estimate at completion. A time estimate at completion can be calculated as SAC by SPI. In this case, this value of TSE will be equal to how much? What is SAC schedule at completion is given 23 months for the previous example. What is the value of SPI? It is already given. The value of SPI for the previous example is 0.88. So now we'll say 23 by 0.88 is equal to 26.14 months. That means the revised estimate, initially you have estimated that the work will be completed within 23 months. But now, based on the value of CAC and SPI, you are estimating the revised estimate is 26.14 months. So what is this? That means the project may take more time than earlier you have planned. This is only an approximate guide where there are several parallel chains of activities being carried out concurrently. Then the project duration will depend on the degree to which the activities that have been delayed are on the critical path or not. It will depend on that. This is a simple graph of this representing the case of AND value. Okay, and maybe the revised forecast. This graph shows an AND value chart with the revised forecast. You can see this middle one is the PV, this below PV it is the EV, above PV is the AC, and this middle line is the time now. What is the today's date? Because x-axis we are taking the month number, y-axis the cumulative cost, maybe in terms of percentage. So what is the status on the 11th month? You want to know what is the project status on the 11th month. So accordingly you can find out what is the EV, PV, AC, and after 11, suppose the project is what you can see according to the PV value, the project is supposed to be completed by 20.25 months perhaps. And EV value, let's see 11, and accordingly you can find out, and if you see the SC value, you can forecast that it is going up to how much? 23 months. So now you can find out the forecast project completion delay, the estimated future cost, the revised expenditure forecast, because up to this till now this is the actual cost. What is the revised cost, revised expenditure that can be forecasted, that is dependent on the dotted line, and what is the forecast overspent, how much, because previous up to this was planned, and now you can see this value is the forecasted overspend. This much value you may have to spend more, this value you may have to spend more, like this. So different factors such as forecast overspend, revised expenditure forecast, forecast project completion delay, expenditure future cost, all those things you can find out. Okay. This top line will be the original completion date, because it was planned that it will be over by 20.25 months, and but it will forecast now it is getting revised. The revised completion date is 23 months. So this is quite easy. This chart please read yourself, have a look yourself, you can understand what factors, what parameters do it represent. So AND value analysis has not yet gained universal acceptance for use with software development projects because one of the important concern is there, perhaps largely because of the attitude that whereas a half-built house has some value reflected by the labor and materials that have been used, but a half-completed software project has virtually no value at all. This was just saying why this 50 by 50 or 75 by 20 is not applicable for softwares. You can see perhaps largely why it is not getting universal accept or popularity in the software projects, because perhaps largely because of the attitude that whereas a half-built house has value, if a house is half-built, it has some value reflected by what? Reflected by the labor and the materials that have been used. A half completed software project, it has virtually no value at all. This is to misunderstand the purpose of the AND value analysis, which is a method for tracking what has been achieved on the project. This can be measured in terms of the budgeted cost of completed tasks or the products. We'll take quickly one example or maybe small two examples, then we'll quickly finish. Suppose you want to develop a project. Now, the various tasks associated with the project are specified the module, that is requirement specification, code the module and test the module. The estimated dates, the tasks, the planned or the estimated dates are given like this. Specify module is estimated to take 5 days. Coding the module is estimated to take 8 days. Testing the module is estimated to 6 days. Now at the beginning of the day 20, what will be there? PV is how much? Just add how much? That it is planned that 5 plus 8, 13 plus 6, 19. That means it will take some planned value is 19 days. So at the beginning of the day 20, planned value is equal to 19 days. You can perhaps add these three values, 5 days, 8 days, but 6 days, it is coming to be 19 days. If everything but testing is completed, I want to find out EV. EV means what? The summation of the PVs up to a particular time. For example, suppose you have completed only specify module and code module, testing module has not been done. So what is the value of EV? EV will be simply add 5 and 8 because that is a summation of the PV values. Till now, if everything but testing is completed, that means only specify module and code module is completed by today, but testing module is not completed, then EV is equal to 5 plus 8, 13 days. What will be schedule variance SB? Simply straightforward formula, EV minus PV. EV is 13 minus 19 is minus 6. So schedule performance indicator SPI is equal to how much? Again formula, EV by PV. So 13 by 19 is equal to 0.68. And you know, if schedule variance is negative, what does it mean? The project is running late. Similarly, if the SPI value is less than 1, what does it mean? The project is running late. So since SB is negative or SPI is less than 0, it indicates that the project is running behind schedule. So now let's find out the actual cost. Suppose the actual cost, okay. The actual cost is also known as actual cost of work performed ACWP. In the previous example, if actually these I have already told you, these are planned or estimated cost. Suppose you have planned this thing, but actually when you are working, specification module, specify module take 3 days and code module take 4 days. So actually it is saying 5 and 8. But actually when you are starting the work, specify module takes 3 days and code module takes 4 days. Then what is the actual cost? Just add these things, 3 plus 4, 7. Because don't confuse cost means always rupee. No, I have already told it can be monetary values, it can be staff effort, it can be work days. So actual cost here 3 plus 4, 7 days. Now cost variance is equal to how much? Again formula EV minus AC. So 13 minus 7 coming to 6 days. CPI again formula EV by AC. So EV by AC is equal to how much? 13. 13 is what? 13 is EV. I have already told you. 13 is EV by AC is 7. So 1.86. In both the cases, you can see cost variance is positive and cost performance indicator is greater than 1. What does it mean? Since cost variance is positive and the CPI is greater than 1.0, it means that the project is within budget. It is within budget. That means it is under budget. You can there is no over budget. It is within budget. It is under the budget. CPI can be used to produce the new cost estimate. If you can find out CPI, it can be used to produce new cost estimate. CPI, I think we have already found out here, isn't it? CPI we have already found out. It is equal to 1.86. By using the value of CPI, you can find out the revised or new estimate or new project estimate. CPI can be used to produce new cost estimate. So we require two important things, BAC and EAC. BAC stands for budget at completion. This is defined as the current budget allocated to total cost of project. And estimate at completion is defined as updated or revised estimate, which is equal to BAC by CPI. So now suppose the budget at completion $19,000 and CPI is 1.86. Okay, suppose BAC is defined as suppose it is given that the value of BAC is 19,000 pound and CPI is 1.16. Already we have computed here. CPI is equal to 1.86. So this EAC estimate at completion is equal to BAC by CPI. That 19,000 by 1.86, that is 10,215. So now you can see that the revised budget is less than the budget at completion. Okay. The projected cost reduced. So now there is a reduction in the projected cost. Why? The projected cost reduced because work being completed in less time. Because the work is completed in less time. You can see here the work is completed in less time. It was planned how many days? 5 plus 8, 13 days. But it is completed in only 4 plus 3, 7 days. So since the work is completed early, obviously there is expected that some reduction will be there in the costs. So time variance you can similarly calculate. This is the difference between time when specified EV should have been reached and time it actually was. For example, say an EV of 19,000 was supposed to have been reached on 1st April. So suppose for this 19,000 EV, for example, say an EV of 19,000 pound, it was supposed to have been reached on 1st April, and it was actually reached on 1st July. Then TV is equal to how much? So this April minus July. So obviously this is 3 months and this is negative minus 3 months. And the negative sign indicates that TV negative indicates that the project is running late. Okay. So quickly we will take another small example. Suppose a project is to be completed in only 1 year at the cost of rupees 1 lakh. After 3 months, the manager is realized that the project is only 30% complete at a cost of rupees 40,000. Assess the performance of the project. So all these values we have two parameters we have to compute. Now you can see from the given description what things are given. Let's see the planned value. What do you mean by planned value PV here? The planned percentage completion of work. What is the planned percentage of completion of work into the budgeted cost? What is the budgeted cost? You saying 1 lakh. And when you are evaluating after 3 months. So 3 months is how much? Total months is 12 months because it is completed to be 1 year. So 3 months means what? 25%. So 25% of 1 lakh is 25,000. What is the earned value? Percentage work actually completed into budgeted cost. So what is completed? You can see 30% is completed. So 30% of 1 lakh is rupees 30,000. Now you can find out cost performance index CPI. CPI is defined as what? EV by actual cost. What is the EV? You can see here 30,000. What is the actual cost? You can see. You see, it shows that at a cost of rupees 40,000. This is the actual cost. So 30,000 by 40,000 is 0.75. Similarly, schedule performance index is defined as what? EV by PV. What is the value of EV? 30,000. What is the value of PV? 25,000. 30,000 by 25,000 is 1.25. Now let's see. We'll draw the conclusion. You can see that we have to draw the inference. CPI value is less than 1, whereas SPI value is greater than 1. I have already told you if it is less than 1, that means either the project is running late or it is over budget. And if it is greater than 1, then it is what? It is below the cost, or it is running smoothly, or it is running faster. So the interpretation can be done as follows. The assessment of project performance, it is given below. Since CPI value, you can see it is less than 1, 0.75, it is less than 1. the conclusion is that the project is over budget. Less than 1 means the cost is more. The project is over budget. Since CPI is less than 1, the project is over budget. For every rupee spent, we are getting only how much? We are getting only 0.75 worth of work. This is 0.75. So the project is over budget. So since CPI is less than 1, the project is over budget, and for every rupee we are spending, we are getting only 0.75 worth of work. And in the other case, SPI is 1.2, that is greater than 1. Since SPI is greater than 1, it indicates that the project is ahead of schedule, because this is schedule performance index. So it is greater than 1 means this is cost. CPI is cost, so it is less than 1 means it is what? Over budget. And since SPI means schedule performance index, it is greater than 1, it indicates that the project is ahead of the schedule. It is not running late, it is ahead of the schedule. At this rate, the project will be delivered ahead of the schedule. The project can be completed before the time, but at over budget, because the cost is high, it is less than 1. So this will be, the project will be completed at over budget. So corrective action needs to be taken, because the cost is going high. The project maybe is completed before time, but the cost is going high. So corrective action needs to be taken. In this way, we have seen this cost monitoring process. In this way, we have seen how the cost monitoring can be done. So today we have presented the basic concepts of cost monitoring. We have discussed briefly the various and value analysis techniques, such as the 0 by 100 technique, the 50 by 50 technique, the 75 by 20 technique, the milestone technique, the percentage completion technique. We have explained it through various examples. We have presented the concept of baseline budget. We have also presented how to monitor the progress of the project. We have also presented how to monitor the progress of the project. Okay. We have discussed the monitoring of and value through computing the performance parameters, such as the schedule variance SB, or time variance TB, or cost variance CB, and various performance ratios, such as the CPI and SPI. We have explained the above parameters with some suitable examples. Okay, so this much we have seen today. We have taken it from this software project management book. Thank you very much. So little bit mathematical understanding is required. Concepts are there, you have to understand. If any doubt, you can ask me, or at least read it today, so that tomorrow class you can ask me. Yes. So any doubt, please? Request some time. Please read it today, so that you can ask me on tomorrow if any doubt. Problems may come from this portion.